Warning, the following show contains material of an adult nature. My performances are real and were carried out under strict professional supervision. None of these performances should be attempted at home. Ouija boards, shrunken heads, voodoo and near-death experiences. Tonight, we take a look into the world of the paranormal. There's a very distinct line between illusion and reality, and that line is going to get blurred right here, right now. This is Brainhacker.
Welcome back. Ian, if you could, just come over and we'll take Keith's temperature reading. Of course, initially we saw his heart rate go up, which is the initial shock. And Keith has managed to pull his heart rate down slightly. And he's basically self-stabilizing himself at this point. How are we?
It's 38.3. He's managed to increase his body temperature.
So I don't know if Keith is showing off right now, but he's just managed to increase his body temperature while he's been in the ice. And we see the looks of shock from these gentlemen's face because they work with ice every day. They get burned by this ice, often we've been told. And have you ever seen anything like this before?
Doesn't make sense.
Okay. What will make sense is that Keith sat down with someone who had a near-death experience. Did he come back with more questions or answers? Check this out.
There's a very fine line between life and death, and once you cross that line, you never come back. But my next guest did just that. Please welcome David Gilna to the lounge, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you, David. How are you? So, David, you had a near-death experience. How many years ago was that now?
2004.
And can you tell us briefly what happened?
Yeah, a group of mates, we went on a J1 visa to America, and it was a sunny day, July 2nd, and there was a ladder on a balcony, and the ladder started to shake. So I went over just to stop the ladder, and then out of the blue I got hit by a bolt of lightning.
Was it a rainy day? Or?
No, it was a beautiful sunny day. Sun was shining, no clouds in the sky, and the lightning hit the ladder. My hand was in the passage. It hit my right hand, earthed out on my left foot, and then I collapsed.
And do you remember what happened when you collapsed? Like, do you remember the moment, or did you wake up in hospital?
I'll always remember the moment. I could feel the pain, extreme pain. And when I collapsed, I was brought to hospital. And I was in and out of consciousness before I went into a coma.
And how long were you in that sleep for?
24 hours. But it was 2 nights when I was in the ICU. It was the first night and the third night that I'll never forget. Because on the third night, I'd lost sensation from the neck down. I couldn't move. And I'll never forget that moment in my time in the ICU. That was the scariest, losing control of your body. And I went into another deep sleep.
And did your perception of the world change because of the experience?
You know, when you're looking out down to your own life, you know, people think you're crazy and you don't want to talk about this, but when you've been through an experience, whether it's a car accident or whether it's you suffer from cancer, you go to these moments in your life that you're out of your body. And it's a scary place to be, or it's a fantastic place to be. It's how you can deal with it mentally. Yeah. And that to me will stay with the rest of my life because I shouldn't be here and I was given a second chance. And that can play in your mind, but to be trapped in the world, it's the only way you can describe it. Whether you believe, whatever religion you believe in or what's your thoughts on life, I left my body. And that will always stay with me for the rest of my life.
Well, I suppose the reason I asked you here today is to perform with your permission what's called an automatic writing. Now, an automatic writing, let me explain, is whereby a psychic will tell you that they're channeling somebody from the other side and that the message that comes through is actually genuinely from that person. I am going to perform an automatic writing for you, but I'm not going to tell you that it's definitely from the person on the other side. Okay. What I am telling you is I believe that I'm going to channel this person, this thought, this idea from your subconscious mind. And maybe, maybe not, it might give you some answers to the questions because it was, I think you mentioned before, was it the third night that was the worst night for you?
Yeah, because I had no feeling down my left and that was fine. But then the feeling went from my neck all the way through. I could feel it slowly. When I asked the nurse, I said, is everything all right? And she put her hand on my leg, and I could see from her eyes, you know, people don't want to tell you, I could see from that reaction that I couldn't feel that, but I was gone.
Yeah.
And I could feel myself slipping away, and I had no control over that. And I don't know what it was that got me back, but I was gone. And I could see it in her eyes. Your eyes give it away, and that's for her. Her reaction to me was my number was up, my card was gone.
Would you mind if we try this?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, great. So, here's what I need you to do. I want you to put out your right hand.
Yeah.
And you're going to grab my right hand in a moment. Just kind of like that.
Yeah.
So I'll hold this up here in a second. And then just stare at the palm of your left hand.
Okay.
Okay, take a deep breath in. Just close your eyes and just relax down now. Just relax down, deep, deep down. Good. That's it. Just relax all the way down. And I really need you now, David, in your mind, with your eyes closed, go back to that moment that you were struck by lightning. Do that for me now. Now fast forward to the first day that you were in ICU. Now the second day. And now to the third day. Stay in that third day. And I want you to see somebody on the other side. Somebody you've never spoken about to anybody. Never spoken about to the press. Never spoken about to anybody in life. Focus on that person on the other side. Keep concentrating on them, David. Bring up that emotion. Focus on them. Bring them up, David. I know this is difficult. Bring them up. Good. And allow that person to slowly drift away now. Allow them to push it back. Back to not only that moment, but back to this moment here. Safe at all times, and slowly when you're ready, come back. Open up your eyes and come back to the room. How do you feel?
Weird.
Okay, I'm going to give you that. Don't look at it just yet. And I've written something for you here. I'm telling you now, this came from, I believe, your subconscious mind. Take from this today whatever it is that you need to take for it. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to read that silently to yourself. You're not going to show anybody here just yet. And if you can then, in a few moments, I'd like you to share it with us. But that'll be up to you. But for now, read it privately to yourself. Let's have a look at it.
I'm speechless. My brother's backstage, so she'll be upset, but in a good way. Her brother died in a motorbike accident when he was 20. And I never knew him. But people say we look alike. And they grew up in the Naul, County Dublin. Beautiful, idyllic farmland. And people always say that me and Patrick are the spit of each other. Obviously, my mother's... Patrick died when he was 20 in the 60s, and I've never met the guy, and I've only heard stories, but you wrote, David, simply wasn't time. I'm with you always. I'm your angel. Love, Patrick. Remember Naptown? Sorry.
I'm getting a bit emotional myself. Can you tell us what Naptown is?
And Naptown is the name of my my family's farm.
I truly mean this from the bottom of my heart. Take from that whatever it is that you need to take from today.
Yeah. I never thought I'd cry in one of these type of programs, but this is unbelievable.
It's very important. It's an emotional moment. I'd like to thank you for your participation in the show. A true, genuine man, and a man who's been through a lot. Give him a nice warm round of applause for you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Thanks for your patience. We're not sure of what the update is, but the only update I can give you is that he's in a room, he's been treated at an ambulance on the way, and he will be probably brought to hospital. So I can't tell you any more than that, but if I can get you to leave the studio, we have to get you to leave the studio now. I thank you again for your patience and for being here throughout the day. Apologies for this. Thank you so much.
It just got really tense at the end, and we just got rushed off on a gurney by the medics, so we're just waiting for the news of what's going on in the future, so we don't know.
He was not coherent at all, and the body shake and all, so it was a bit scary, I have to say now.
It was just amazing that somebody could endure that time in that ice.
Like, everyone was kind of like, oh God, is this part of it? Is this part of it? But when you realise that it wasn't part of the show,
especially when we were asked to leave.
Yeah, and we were all
really
hurried
tense.
out. It was like, oh God, this is serious. This isn't part of the show. Like, it was very, very, very intense.